yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk, and we've got some gameplay for the Progetto, the Tier 8 premium Italian tank. Progetto 46, and Nonamanadus is driving this thing. Nona. He's in a 510 on Muravanka, spawned into the south spawn. He is headed over to the east side. We're going to take a look at how the Progetto fights. It's an interesting tank. It essentially has an autoloader, although there's a twist to the autoloader. The twist is that as soon as you fire a shot, it starts to reload that shell. You can fire all three, and it will immediately start reloading as well, and then they reload in succession. The balancing factor they're attempting to use on this tank is the fact that it's only got 3 shells instead of what you would normally find as 4 shells at this class and type of tank with an autoloader. And the fact that it doesn't have a lot of armor. The problem with that idea is that the flexibility gained with the way this autoloading system works, and I'm going to call it an autoloading system just because that's essentially what it is as far as World of Tanks goes with a twist. The problem with attempting to balance it that way is it retains a massive amount of flexibility that a regular autoloader doesn't have, and it just doesn't matter that it's missing a shell. So we'll take a look at how this works, flexibility being the key. You can see that the reload, as shown on the replay, is a little bit bugged. So he does a nice job, gets in there, tracks him again, shifts over a little bit, puts another shot in, and gets some damage. And that's a great example right there of its flexibility. That guy pushes, and he eats 3 shells, and Nona pulls on back and starts reloading. Look how fast he pretty much gets another shell in. There it is. And he's ready to fight already again. Whereas had that been a 5100, he's out for a good 30, maybe more seconds right there. And he's probably still waiting even right about now. He's got 2 shells at this point. And now he's going to come in here. He's got 3 shells. Normally, he'd have to play peekaboo on this guy. Someone else hits him. Holy cow, an unlucky bounce. Doesn't matter because I have a 3rd shell. So that guy is down big time on hit points. And even if Nona bounces one, it's a tank with 3 shells. And look at that, he's already got a shell and he's ready to fight again. KB5 dies up there. They're doing a pretty good job over on the east. He's up to 2 shells. And this is bugged. I think he's actually going to get to... There you go. There we go. So it's up to 3. The problem is the timer is not showing. It has to do something with when you come into a replay, if you fast forward or jump forward before it's completely reloaded, it seems to screw up your reload as far as it shows up on the screen. So just watch for that if you're watching reloads. If you're watching replays. Going to push up here. He's got this ISU to contend with. I think the guy's running with the derp gun. Gets aggressive, comes around the side. The guy's got several people to worry about. Puts a shot into him. Another shot. And dead. And look at that. So he just rages in there. Shot, shot, shot. And nukes this guy. So anything that's sitting around 700 hit points or less is vulnerable to the Progetto. Is it vulnerable to other autoloaders? Absolutely. But look how fast he's back in the fight now. Shell, shell. He's already got 2. And if you were in one of the other autoloaders, you're probably still waiting. And maybe around now or a few seconds from now, you're getting all your shells back. But he was already good to go and ready to fight. So let's see how this works for him later on. They have defeated the east side. We didn't get too much into this map. Everybody knows how this one operates. As far as I'm concerned, you win the forest and then you start worrying about all the guys more or less out in the open over on the west side. When I say out in the open, I'm just saying there's not a lot of cover over there other than the big hill. So they are fairly easy to find. He's going to come up here, sit here and look at this Ferdinand for a moment, but nothing doing. He's kind of behind some buildings. There's a lot of buildings over there between him and Nonamanadus. So we're going to head over here. Some guys went back for a wonder. That's a good thing. You can see the T10 and the type. The artillery is supporting the cap. There's only 2 guys pushing, and they've got a bunch of campers back in the corner, which is a great way to lose a game. Especially one that you got up on fairly early. 69's out in the open. That's the problem with pushing across that big open space. You're just going to get eaten up by guys that are hold down over there on the east side. He's getting absolutely crushed. Okay, so we come up here, we find him, boom, down he goes, and now immediately it's starting to reload that shell. And that's how you fight the tank like a regular medium. You just shoot once and you reload, and there you go. So it's about, what, 6 or 7 seconds, which is pretty comparable to most Tier 8 medium tanks. What that means is, in case you haven't caught it, is that you can fire once, wait your 6 or 7 seconds, fire again, and you are essentially just another medium tank at tier 8 with a pretty good accurate gun. And the flexibility comes in the fact that you've got 3 shells if you need to jump all over weakened tanks. So let's see how this goes down here. He nicks that dude and kills him. I thought that was a great move. Didn't have to use the shell. Here's the Proto. Just shoot him on the way. And look, we're reloading. We only used 1. Of course, a ram is a great way to conserve shells. So now we've got 3. We've got the Conway. He takes a couple hits. He's at 300. Normally take 2 shots in a little while for a regular medium to get him. He comes in with 2 auto-loading shots. Actually takes 3 because he got unlucky, but that's fine. He doesn't care because now that thing's reloading. Instead of being out of it for 30 seconds, he's only out of it for whatever it is, 12 or 10 or whatever it took to get that first shell. And just like that, on a fairly standard game, he rages in there, ends up with 7 kills. Now, granted, a fairly low damage game for that many kills. Lots of spotting damage at 2,100, but it just really illustrates with the mobility of this tank, the accuracy of the gun, and the flexibility of that ridiculous auto-loading system. It really is overpowered in the right hands. Now, you can say that about any tank. And there's a couple of them especially that are kind of broken. The 268 version 4 thing is at the top of that list right there. And in a good player's hands, it's even more ridiculous. But I just don't agree with the way they've done this new mechanic. You know, they're looking for new things to throw into the game, and they got to hype it and all that kind of thing. But this is just ridiculous because the autoloader's only real drawback is that you had that long reload. And you've just created an autoloader that doesn't have the drawback. This really looks like to me, this looks like some developer on the team decided he loved autoloaders but didn't like the drawback, so somehow talked somebody into building an autoloader with no drawbacks. It's incredible. It really is. Is this going to run around and ruin the game? No. Is it kind of a ridiculous, overpowered tank in its tier? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially as a medium. You know, it's going to see tier 10s and tier 9, so that's going to limit its effectiveness. That's just the cross that tier 8 bears. But you've got to look at these things in the bigger picture, and if this thing fought in an all tier 8 battle, it's got a huge advantage with the way that this auto-loading system is set up. Anyway, nice job there from Nona. Good game, buddy. Appreciate you sending that in. For everybody else, keep on sending these things in. I have been a little bit behind the power curve, but I am catching up. I can't do a video on every one that I get sent in. I get quite a few, but especially if you haven't seen one of your videos on the channel and you would like to see that on the channel, please send it in. Good games, bad games, games you have questions on, you just want an analysis, doesn't really matter. As long as it's something interesting or you just want me to pontificate about your gameplay, hey, I can make all kinds of stuff up. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you.